Good morning, one and all, and welcome to the video. My name is Saumil Shah, and in this video, I'll be talking about Redshift and Redshift copy commands in AWS. I'm redoing this video because my last video, the quality of the video was not that great. People said that they were not able to read. That's the reason I'm doing it once again. Okay, so let's get started with Amazon Redshift. So even I'm new to this Redshift and data warehouse, but I'm learning by myself. I have taken certain courses and I'm educating myself. And now, whatever I've learned, I want to teach you guys, right? So let's get started with Redshift. Amazon Redshift is a fully managed petabyte scale data warehouse service in cloud. Analyze all your data with fastest and most widely used cloud data warehouse. No other data warehouse makes it as easy to gain new insights from all our data. With Redshift, you can query and combine exabytes of structured and semi-structured data across your data warehouse, operational database, and data lake using standard SQL. Redshift lets you easily save your result of your queries onto your S3 data lake using open formats such as Apache Parquet, so that you can so that you can do additional analytics from other analytics services such as Amazon EMR, Athena, and SageMaker. Basically Amazon Redshift has up to 3x better price performance than the other cloud services, than other cloud data warehouse, and the price performance advantage improves as your data warehouse grows to gigabytes and exabytes. Amazon Redshift takes the advantage of AWS design hardware and machine learning ML to deliver best performance at any scale. This includes using AWS Nitro system to accelerate data compression and encryption, ML techniques to analyze queries, and graph optimized algorithm to automatically organize and store data faster queries results. Use cases of Redshift might be BI tools, operational analytics or events, data as service, predictive analytics, and much more. This is a traditional database. As you can see, it's pretty hard to scale. You have to maintain the underlying infrastructure, and you don't want to do all that, right? People are moving to cloud. That's the advantage of Redshift. Basically, there are two popular types of storage: row-wise storage and columnar storage. In row-wise storage, each row is stored as a sequentially in a data block, good for cases when entire row needs to be read, faster for writer speeds, best fit for OLTP application. Columnar basically is stored sequentially data in the block. It's slow, basically it has slow write speed, but it's good for big data and analytics. Redshift uses columnar storage. This is the architecture for Redshift. So you have several worker node and you have a master node. Whenever you run a query, the master node sends a command to these worker nodes. Worker nodes reply back to the master nodes, aggregate the data, and gets to the client. The two popular categories in Redshift offer are DC2 and DS2. DC2 basically storage stands for SSD, DS2 stands for HDD. Here is a difference between DC2 and DS2. So DS2 stands for HDD, DC2 stores as SSD. So it has slower, so the DS2 has slower queries, but in compared DC2 has faster queries. Cost efficient for data sets smaller than 500 gigabytes. So if you have a data set that's far smaller than 500 gigabytes, recommended is DC2, else go for DS2. Copying data to Redshift, you can copy data from various sources such as DynamoDB, S3, EMR, and SS through a remote host using SSH. This is a Redshift copy command. You provide the command copy table name from source and authorization. So the copy commands can also take several attributes. For example, if you want to specify column mappings or data format or data conversion, these all things could be supplied on a copy command. Copy command leverages parallel processing by default. So if you have in a lot of files in a folder, it would take care of that. But you can also provide a manifest file if you want to run it in that way. Let's enough of talking, and now basically let's start creating infrastructure on cloud, connect to the cloud, and understand everything in much detail. By the way, all the exercises are on my GitHub. All the code and the files are in the GitHub. So if you want to try them out, please come to the GitHub, download all these files, and you can get started. Oops, sorry, that was my music. I was listening to some songs. I'm on the Amazon Web Console. On the S3, I've uploaded all these files. Let's go to Redshift. Let's create a cluster. So we'll say free trial. So that's fine. So we want to create a free trial. And remember, I talked about DC2 and DS2, right? Whenever it's less than 500 GB, DC, so this slide right here, which I just was talking about, I think it was on the bottom section. This one, DC2 and DS2, right? So now this should make sense about that, right? So let's set up a username and password for our Redshift. The user can be AWS user and the password can be AWS. Let's see if this one. I'll put this password on the username. Let's see if it works. AWS as user. And do mind that this, when I create an instance, it might take several minutes, and I'm not going to edit the video. Please forward the video if you want to skip that part, because I'm pretty sure it would take a couple of minutes to create the entire resources. All right, my Redshift cluster is now being created. So hopefully I should see the cluster now. So it might take a while. So I'm going to head over to the dashboard, and I'm going to wait unless I see a cluster which says ready here. Right now I do not see anything, but so I'm gonna keep waiting, okay? By the way, before that, now in order to, since this is working, let's click on clusters. So still it's doing that thing. We need to install a client object in order to query the Redshift, right? So if you come to my GitHub account, and I have provided all the links here, right? So go to this website. And now here we need to do following things, okay? So I want you to head over to the getting started section and download this one for Hadoop OpenJDK, install that, okay? Then I want you to install, go to the download section right here, and then install this software right here, this one right here. So this would be a zip file. Once you do install that, extract, create a folder in your downloads or wherever you want to do, and then extract all the files here. Then in order to launch the workbench, you can pull up the exe command. Sorry for that. You can start up the exe file, and this should start up your workbench. So I'm gonna start up my workbench, and then we need to do a couple of settings as well. So I'll show you what to do and what not to do. So hopefully now you can see it's asking me for those credentials and stuff. So let's wait because our cluster is still being created. So as you can see, it still says creating. So I'm gonna wait at this point. As I said, please feel free to forward the video, because it takes a lot of time just to edit and then redo everything. So might as well you just forward it, right? So by the way, I just wanted to let you know about a little bit stuff here. So we have a dashboard, then we have a clusters, then we have queries and loads. Query editor is where you can write your queries. Then there's a section called config where you can get the configurations, for example, the connection string, JDBC driver. So we need to do all of that, right, in order to connect stuff. So I'll show you about that. Meanwhile, we need to do one more important thing here. We need to create an IAM user so we can do our copy command. So let's head over to Amazon Management Console, head over to IAM. Come to user. Click on add user. Okay, programmatic. I'll give it the admin access for now. Attach policy. Administrator, it looks good for now. Next. And we are done. Now let's copy the commands on the credentials. Oh shit, I lost it. What was the password? I forgot. Oh shit. Not sure what was the password. I think I messed up, but it's fine. I'll figure it out. That's fine. I'll just create one more because I sort of just did a Control Z. Not sure how do I bring this back now. Yeah, I think it's gone. So I need to create one more. So I'll create a temp, programmatic access for now. Next, policies, administrative, next, 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 and we should be done with that. I'm not sure if I remember the password though. Might be a problem if I want to connect through the client, but let's see. Okay, so we have secret and hopefully it should be fine. So let's see if the cluster is ready. Redshift cluster says available, so I think our cluster is ready. So we have all these files, right? So let's create our copy command. So we'll head over to my GitHub section, come here, and first of all we need to create this table, right? So again, come to the Redshift console here, open up the tab query editor in the top section, and that's so first of all we need to connect. I do not remember the password, but let's see so database name is dev, database user, I think it was AWS user, connect. This is their tools that they provided us, right? So now basically I can run a command, or basically I could create this table. Come to Redshift console right here. Let's run this. This basically should create the table. So now the table is created, right? We have an employees table with that schema. Now what I want to do is basically I have all these files on the S3. So let's try to copy the folder path for that. And then let's try to run the copy command. Come here, dump the path here, come to the GitHub, copy the scaffold for the copy command. Okay, so now we need the AWS access key. We need the secret key. So I'm essentially replacing the values. And then what I need to do is I need to provide the path. So okay, here is my copy command. Copy command is ready. Let's head over to the Redshift. Let's copy all the files. This should basically crawl over my S3 and dump all the basically should export all the files to Redshift. Run. Might take a while, you have to be patient here. Says an error, says string literal started position 70 SQL employee, and then I know why that happened. I think it was employees, spelling mistake here, and it's totally fine. Run the copy command. Undeterministic string position 7 SQL1 copy. Employees S3 data set credentials, AWS access key this, AWS secret key this, expected char. Let's see what happened there. I think everything was fine. Not sure. I think I'm missing a quotes here. That's the reason. Yeah, I was missing a quotes if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it has to be in quotes. That's correct. So was missing a quotes there. So that's fine. We basically did fix the, and we also need to fix the table name, employees and not employees. Okay, let's try this one again. Run the copy command. And now you can see the data is being populated right now from my S3 without even running a glue or any sort of crawler. So let's wait and then I'll show you, and then I'll show you one small thing, and then there should be. So now I have all the data from my S3 to Redshift. So let's say preview data. This essentially should show you all the data, and sure enough, all the data has been exported. Pretty good, guys. Good job. So this is how you can use copy commands. Now let me show you quickly how basically to connect to your cluster through some sort of a dev tool. So in order to do that, come to the configuration section right here, and then you need to download this driver, and then select the connection string, the JDBC connection string, copy this. Now, once you do that, actually I'll just do it, it's fine. I mean, I don't want to do it because usually I use the web tool, but whatever. Once you copy that, open your SQL workbench, create a folder called AWS JDBC driver. Inside that, dump the jar file inside that. Once you do that, head over to your management here, Now what you want to do, call this Redshift, enter username, enter password. I don't remember the password because I just forgot. That's fine, but you got the idea. Username, password. Now what you need to do here is, on the bottom section, you have to click on manage drivers. Now when you click on manage drivers, basically Amazon Redshift, and then here you have to provide the path for that. Click on OK. Once you do that and click on test button, you should be connected to your basically you should be connected to your Redshift, and you should be able to execute commands. Well, that's pretty much it, right? Easy. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on Redshift, and basically, and you see how easily you can import data from Redshift. That's basically, if you have data from S3, you can import it using a copy command. And in the next video, I'll be showing you how to import data using glue crawlers. Thank you for watching. Keep smiling, keep coding, and see you guys next time. And guys, just want to say one last thing. I know the video quality was not that great last time, so you could have, someone, whoever commented, could have said it in a little lighter tone. That makes a difference. I put in a lot of hours and efforts to make videos, man. Please, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Keep smiling, keep coding, and see you guys in the next upcoming video.